Hello and welcome back to the Tuesday Checklist, the weekly show where we sit on a sofa and talk about games. A bit like group therapy, but with more fireballs. No fireballs this week though. Instead, we've taken our lead from open and end of world adventure, Days Gone, and are talking about games that literally made our days gone. See what we did there? Yes, it's not very complicated. Anyway, Ultimate Life Swallowers. Rob, take it away.
A game where the days literally went, for me, like the daytime went away, was at university, and it was the first online game I ever played. And the game was Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence, but Metal Gear Online. And that was the first time, that was the first iteration of Metal Gear Online. There have been 2 further iterations of it since then, so you can't play Metal Gear Online with Metal Gear Solid 3 anymore, sadly. But it was my first ever experience of an online multiplayer thing, and to this day it was my favourite one. Probably because it was my first one and I have such fond memories of it, but it did get to a stage where one night I must have stayed up until about 5 or 6 in the morning just playing it, and then being a university student with nothing really to do, I then went to sleep and woke up probably about 3 in the afternoon, and then just proceeded. I think that lasted for a week. That lasted for about a week, me just solidly playing Metal Gear Solid 3 online through the night, and one of the fondest gaming memories I have. That wonderful week. And it was a game I got so obsessed with for months on end. I was absolutely gutted when they closed down the servers on that game. But it was such a beautiful experience as well. It had all the quirky Metal Gear Solid things in it, like you could put a magazine on the floor, and if the opposing team ran into the magazine, they would become immobilized by this magazine, and I would be like, oh, the magazine. And there were like little love hearts surrounding them, and so I had all these quirky things like that. And the maps were fantastic as well. I learnt the maps off by heart. I'm sure you've got examples of games you played online so long that you know the maps. You just know the maps. You know the maps to such a degree that if you're being shot at, you know exactly where the person is. You know exactly where they're going to move. You know exactly where you need to go to be in the position to counter them. And it just got to that stage where I was just having just an incredible time.
What kind of things do you have to do when online? Is it like a last man standing? Is it kind of like a capture the flag kind of thing?
There were various different modes. It was 4v4. And my favourite mode was just basic team deathmatch, but there was a lot of stealth involved as well. There was one mode where it was 1 versus 7, I think, and the 1 was Snake, and you had to get from point A to point B while collecting a thing, and the others obviously weren't allowed to see you, and you had various things at your disposal to sneak by. That was great fun. But yeah, I made some friends online as well. The first friend I made was my enemy for the longest time. I had this rivalry with this one guy who can't remember his name now. But whenever I logged on, he was always online as well. He was always on the other team, and I was regularly like the best player on my team, and he was always the best player on his team. So it was always a duel between, who could win.
It was your brother.
And one day, probably, or my clone dad, and one day we logged in and we were on the same team, and it was amazing. We just spent the night just winning every game, and we became friends. And after the server shut down all those years ago, that was the end of that friendship, which was a sad.
This has turned into a sad.
It's a sad story, yeah.
So my entry for games that just made all the days go away is actually one that is still occurring to me at the moment. It's the game that I've put the most hours into on my PS4, which really surprised me. Again, I didn't expect it to be that. I thought it was going to be Bloodborne, but
FIFA?
No. I've only played actual soccer on the PS1, and then FIFA, I only get yellow cards. That's how much FIFA knowledge I have.
I love that you get yellow cards but not red cards. You don't go too far.
I do get red cards, but it depends who I'm playing with. Depends how banterous I want to be and how annoying.
Fair enough.
But the game that I've put the most hours into on my PS4 is Final Fantasy X.
Ooh. Wow.
Yes, indeed. I have no idea where all that time's gone already. And even nowadays, as I've mentioned like before on streams and things like that, I am still on the final boss. And even though it's my most hours I've put into a game, I see Rob shaking his head. I'm still grinding. And literally, I'm there grinding away. And the next thing I know, an hour's gone, 2 hours have gone, a day has gone dedicated to grinding. But it's just still so enjoyable and I absolutely love it. And I remember, I think I first booted it up, it must have been around 2 years ago now. It was just before I moved out of my family home, because I still remember being on my little bed in my little comfy room with my parents. No, they were downstairs, they didn't have the games. And I remember playing it then and starting the journey and then kind of taking a little break because something else came in. Then I booted it back up and it was as if nothing had changed. Next thing I know, more days and I got obsessed with it again. More time, more days had passed and lo and behold, where am I now? And then I take another break and then just keep on jumping to and from into it. Hours, days, weeks, so much time has gone into that game and I don't know where.
Rosie, you've got to paint a picture for me. As someone who's never played a Final Fantasy game, you're at the end boss.
Yes.
So you attempted the boss?
Yes, many a time.
And it went bad.
It's gone very bad.
And you realise you need to get more powerful, so you're going away to get more powerful. How often are you coming back and trying the boss? How long might this last, is what I'm asking.
I've got a rule with myself that it's annoying because when I play Final Fantasy VII, I had a rule that in that game when you level up, it's sort of, you've got the little graph and it just fills up. And then when the graph is filled up, you've reached the next level. Right. But so before I used to be like, oh, if I reach level 50, let's say, I'll go back and give the boss another go. But in Final Fantasy X, you've got a sphere grid, so you don't have a specific number that you can say, oh, I'll get up to this point and then I'll do the boss. So with Final Fantasy X, I'm just like, oh, I'll grind for let's say 2 hours and then I'll give him another shot. I'll see how I'm doing. So it's like that kind of thing. So it's not as if I can be like, oh, I'll get to this level and I know I'm stronger and then boom, I'm sure that'll be enough level. Like I'm 10 over the boss battle. It's fine, I can take this guy down. Instead, it's just a case of, right, okay, I've got to train up this character more because they're really weak for some reason. Maybe I should go this tactic. I mean, Rob, you told me that Riku has really quick things, like actions and stuff. I didn't even know that the whole time I was playing, so now I'm like, oh, I should level Riku up more. She might be really handy.
You must be strong enough to beat the final boss now, Rosie.
I'll show you, like literally, I go into the final boss and then he has those 2 stupid stones and then he's just like, haha, you try to scratch me, 'tis but a scratch, I'm gonna throw this attack and then my rock is going to attack and then, oh, sorry, that one had to recharge, so have another attack and then another one and then the other, and then he's like, actually I feel like one more punch, so have another punch and then my whole team is just wiped out.
I've got some bad news for you, Rosie.
Oh, no.
Don't, okay.
It's not.
It's not the final boss, is it? That's all you're gonna tell me. Anyway, the days that are still going and that I have no idea where the time has gone for me has been the wonderful, wonderful game, which is Final Fantasy X. And I can't wait to beat it so I can finally play the other Final Fantasy games.
This is quite a hard one for me. Games in which the days were gone because of the way I play games, which tends to be, I would just be floating along playing something quite casually, maybe Apex Legends. I'll dip in for a game, sure, maybe every lunchtime, or what I'm also currently doing on the go is playing Burnout Paradise Remastered on PS4. I've got several hundred races to get my Burnout Elite license. Why am I doing that? I don't know, I've already got the Platinum. But these are just things I would do to occupy myself. And then sometimes I will latch onto a game and I have either got this nice mode or I've got the crazy mode where I'm just completely invested and all I want to do.
The Nathan mode.
Well, so all I want to do is play the game, and it's happened with.
You went full Nathan.
Yeah, exactly. And it's currently happening with Sekiro, which I'm enjoying a lot. The game that took me like a fever was Neo.
Oh yes.
Neo.
I've heard a lot of things about Neo.
Neo's great, and it's weird, but playing Sekiro really, and then going back to look at Neo and trying to remember why it made me lose my mind. It's a lot kind of different to what I remember. Actually, I remember thinking, oh, it's like a Soulsborne game with slightly quicker combat, and Sekiro is kind of like that as well, and they're very different games. But just remembering all the things that pop up when you really immerse yourself in something for a kind of an intense and short amount of time, like the menu noises or the combat noises and all those kind of little muscle memory things that you kind of, it's like cramming for an exam. It's like a really intense, like I'm just putting this in my brain for no reason, and then remembering it was like, oh my God, like super specific, intense feelings from this particular moment in time. You can always tell when I go crazy for a game because I volunteer to make several more videos than we would normally make on the channel.
And I think there's probably between 5 and 10 Neo videos from like a week period just before it came out and around the beta where I just
He
lost.
also pretends that it needs to, play at lunchtime. Then I need to play now for another hour to get that thing.
Yeah, and after
One
that.
tiny bit of footage.
Look, I'll make a video.
Sure, but also at weekends. That's the balance.
Yeah, true.
So I did all these. I lost my mind in just playing the game and really, really enjoying it. I defeated all of the bosses. I think I did the hardest things, which I never thought would be possible when I first started playing the game. The beginning of the game, or near the beginning of the game, actually in the beta, you get to fight a guy called Lord Munashiga, and I probably had 50 goes at him. And then I did it, and I put it up on the channel. And then near the end of the game, you fight him and another guy who's just as hard called Lord Tadakatsu at the same time in the same fight. And so I got into the game as much as possible, decided to go for the platinum like a lunatic. And where I really lost my mind was there was just a silver trophy called Regular Smith Customer, where you go to the blacksmith in the game. There's kind of 2 characters in there, and you can talk to them and you can ask for requests, and you have to get 60 requests to get this silver trophy, just a silver trophy. And a request is when you patronize the shop enough times, when you spend enough money, they will give you like a point which allows you to improve something that they do there, and you can do that. You have to do that 60 times, and if you spend, I think it's 200,000 Amrita, like the in-game currency, you get 1 point for the first 30 times, and then it exponentially increases. And I think in the end you need something like 2 million of the in-game currency, which is a lot. It is a lot.
I remember this happening.
So I had like grinding routes that I would do just for hours, mindlessly going through like levels which were on the hard level, but which I found particularly easy because of my setup. I just went crazy. Picked a particular part where there was like a bridge and you could kill revenants from high level players, and I would learn how to, cheese those guys and steal all their gear and then go and sell it and then go to the blacksmith and just hammering things on the blacksmith.
That's what I remember.
The noise.
It would be like you wouldn't even be looking at the screen. You'd have one hand just
true.
like holding the controller, just pressing X or whatever over and over and over again, whilst browsing Twitter or something.
Because I love games, Dave. I love games. I know, isn't it weird? But yeah, Neo, played it over the course of maybe a month, loved it, got the platinum, just grinding for like 20 hours, put it away, have barely thought about it since. What happened to that month, I'm not sure, who knows.
Oh God, there's a Neo 2 coming.
I know.
A bit like you, Nath, I don't think that generally I play games like this. Not anymore. I find it hard being an adult to have some small responsibilities. I mean, you've got a family. I don't, but I've got some responsibilities probably, and
probably somewhere in the folders.
Exactly. I find it difficult to do that and then spend a whole day playing a game. Like a little voice in my mind just chips in and goes, you should be doing something. Why? You should clean something, or you've got bills to pay. So this hasn't happened to me for a while, which is why we're going way back to the PS1 for a game that I lost days to, about 42 days, and that was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Oh, nice.
What an absolute banger that game was. I mean, it's very easy to play, difficult to master, and you can button bash. I am a big button basher. If we're talking about games like like beat 'em ups, no, never put any time in. I'm just terrible. In Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, I learnt things. I learnt how to do tricks. I learnt the tricks. I wasn't just button bashing. I wasn't just hoping. I literally learnt how to do them.
I played hours of it, and I played lots of skate as well.
Yeah.
Did you ever learn what any of the tricks were called? Because I still have no idea. I know what an ollie is, and that's it.
Yeah,
There's
or a nollie.
What's a nollie?
A nollie's when you do it from the front. So it's like rather than the ollie at the back, and you can do a nollie at the front.
What?
Yeah.
The other ones.
She's right.
Backflip, manual.
What's a manual?
A manual's when you
Manuals.
two wheel.
You sort of balance, don't you? Manuals when you sort of balance. You're kind of like a wheelie on a bike, but on a skateboard.
That's the one.
Yeah. But no, basically, hard flip. That's a good one. Good name.
Yeah.
What is it? It's just a hard flip. Really. It's quite hard. 180, 360, 720, 1080. Is that one?
Bad boy. That's
Yeah, 1080, good.
lovely.
Don't think it goes past 1080. I don't remember going further than 1080.
Maybe you didn't know.
The other thing, which was brilliant, was the soundtrack. And
if I wasn't playing the game, I seem to remember that you could go into the options menu and just listen to the music. It might have been to adjust the volume, and it would just play a song. And I remember I used to go and listen to No Cigar by Millencolin just over and over and over again in my room.
The
sun
was
blazing,
amazing, wasn't it?
It was just so much time on my hands.
I know, I'll put on my PlayStation and I'll put this particular game and go into the options menu and adjust the volume.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, this was the old days. The only other way I was going to listen to No Cigar by Millencolin was to go to Our Price and buy the record, not the vinyl. So that was it. It was amazing, and it introduced me to a whole kind of like new culture, really. Like the skating. I don't know. I don't remember it being massive in the UK before stuff like that. Like Tony Hawk's brought that kind of culture in lots of ways, brought that kind of music over, or certainly like popularized it, or for me at least. I've gone from quite a big generalization to just, for me, I learned about things because of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. So that's my game. Days were gone to that. A whole summer was gone, but I regret nothing. Absolutely nothing.
So the lesson is don't make friends.
Yeah.
Really took that to heart.
It's definitely.
Too easy.
That's funny. Although it does presuppose that Rob has a heart. Thanks for watching, everyone. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video. Let us know in the comments what game stole your life. And don't forget to click that notification bell so you're bang up to date with all our content. See you soon.
For the players.